Well, Dan, it definitely seems like at least it's now business as usual, save for some of the motorists that are passing by, slowing down and pointing out at the mosque. I think word has spread in the small community, so everyone has an idea of exactly what took place here, not only last week Thursday, but as you mentioned, yesterday as well, with the discovery of that device. And in fact, as you mentioned in your intro as well, I just got off the phone now with the Hawks, and the spokesperson, Simpiwe Mhlongo, was walking into that meeting that you referred to. At this point, although there is no official word as to whether that is indeed a bomb, you know, one would get the feeling that it has created a cause for concern for investigators. If you just take into account how long they spent here last night. They were here from just before 7 until about midnight last night, combing the area, combing the premises, and obviously eventually removing that device, which you described to be a cell phone, which was attached to a PVC pipe, it looked like, with 2 wires connected to it. But during that time, residents had also been asked to leave their homes, mostly the residents in and around where I'm talking to you from, just surrounding the mosque, and they were all gathered just outside the cordon tape. Many of them worried about what was going on. It also got a bit tense here last night, Dan, because this is now a situation that is, like I said to you, Veka, earlier, the mosque has turned into a crime scene twice in just a few days. And this is not something that's common for this community. It's a mosque that has operated here from about 1998. It's a very small congregation, looking at about 50 people or so that come here regularly, and all of them known to the community. And prior to this, you know, there haven't really been any serious incidents, save for a robbery that took place here a few years ago, where some worshippers were attacked by a few men and their cell phones were taken. But fortunately, no one was harmed or killed in that incident.
Dasen, I mean, without causing any panic or being paranoid, one would understand the concern of the residents. I mean, we need to be very careful how we are describing these incidents until the Hawks have completed their investigation. We need to give them space to do that. But I mean, residents have a right to be concerned. I mean, just last Thursday, there was a knife attack there. 1 person is dead, a couple of others are in the hospital, and within a few days, a device is found. I guess one would understand that the residents would have a good reason to be really concerned about what's going on in and around that mosque.
No, I'd certainly say so, Dan. I mean, like I mentioned just now, this is not something common here. In fact, residents say that even just, you know, normal crime is not very high in this area. So it's definitely not something they've seen. But I think the negative side of all of that is that I've noticed, just being here on the ground, both on Thursday and yesterday as well, is that it's creating something of a divide within this close-knit community. And if you just listen to some of the conversations that have been taking place on the sidelines and accusations being passed, you know, you have a situation here just even last night where some of the Muslim residents had to then defend themselves to some of the non-Muslims that were standing here, where, you know, they were saying that this mosque is almost the source of trouble, and there hasn't been trouble here. And then the Muslim leaders from here were saying that they didn't ask for this. This is just something that happened. It's a criminal act. They know that there has been some animosity towards them and the practices at this mosque, because it's a different sect of Islam that, you know, the worshippers follow here at this mosque. But other people also stepping in just as a voice of reason, saying that it could happen to anyone. This could have been a church, it could have been a temple, it could have really been anywhere, and the community then needs to stand together to ensure that they support each other during this time. The last I heard as well, in talking to some of those residents yesterday, was that they were planning to have some kind of community meeting today, just to put these issues on the table, and I think come together also just to get clarity on what's going on exactly.
Okay, Dasen, very briefly, you had a brief chat last night with the Hawks. They appealed for calm in the area, and today they're going to try to really establish what was this device. Your sense you got from the Hawks talking to them last night, how urgently, or are they prioritizing the investigation so we can really put all kinds of speculation to bed as soon as possible?
Well, on the one side, Dan, I got the sense that they were definitely taking this seriously. and that they were prioritizing this case largely because of the nature of the attack. I mean, this is a place of worship. It's a very unusual attack, and especially the brazen nature in which men entered this mosque and attacked those people here. But on the other hand, I also get the sense that they're not sharing all of the information with us just yet and treating the case very sensitively. One would understand that they're doing this just because they don't want to divulge too much until they have something solid, something confirmed. And, you know, the other part of this, Dan, is that one would expect a police presence outside this mosque. And, you know, I'm not a policeman myself, but you would think that after 2 of these incidents, you would expect to have at least a few police cars out here. And all we saw was one earlier this morning, and there was one police officer just removing the cordon tape. But other than that, we haven't seen any other serious security measures outside.
Thank you very much for the latest update. eNCA's Dasen Thathiah outside that mosque in Verulam, just north of Durban, which has been a scene of 2 incidents, including a knife attack last Thursday, and yesterday what is a possible explosive device was found under the chair of the Moulana. And now the Hawks are investigating with bomb experts exactly what kind of device is. But thankfully, the situation this morning is quiet and calm in and around that mosque.